I hear them talking in the streets, but they don't say the real. We really debating the industry and what the sixer feel. Cold shoulders turn to open arms when you on for real. Ain't no strangers to the bricks. Now let's build something for real. It's too real, real, it's too real, real, it's too real.
Yo, episode 23, It's Too Real, we back. We back for another week, man. I hope everybody's straight out there, you know what I mean? I hope everybody's good. You know what I mean? Just here chilling. I'm gonna keep it real short this week, you know what I mean? Real short, before we get into the interview, you know what I'm saying? But I just wanna say, before I drop this interview, anybody listening, man, I need you to go to the the podcast joint on your phone. If you have an iPhone, and then you rate this joint, you put 5 stars on it. You know what I mean? Rate my podcast, put 5 stars on it. I need you, Sneaker Tree, to do that. I need you, Sicky, to do that. Swanson, I need you to do that. You know what I mean? Those ain't got an iPhone, like it on SoundCloud or something. And a lot of you guys don't understand is what I'm trying to tell you is that a lot of you complain about losing your data and this shit. You know what I mean? If you actually subscribe to it in the podcast section, you know what I mean? You can put your phone on airplane mode or just save it to your phone. It's not going to take your data out or whatever. Whatever the case may be, how you go about it, you know what I mean? And you'll be all right. You can hear It's Too Real, the podcast, you know what I mean? But I'm about to drop this episode. I'm definitely proud of this episode. I think this episode should motivate a lot of people, man, especially the artists, man. And you know what I mean? I just hope you guys know how much I actually root for you guys. I want you guys to do well. And everybody in the city, you know what I mean? Like, I love the city, you know what I mean? And I want the city to get as much exposure, as much light as it needs to get, you know what I mean? So this interview right here, man, it's a guy that I just... Yo, man, he's just a real dope individual, you know what I mean? As you listen, you'll get to hear his story and understand who he is. And I hope you guys take in his music, you know what I mean? I'm going to mention them in the interview, you know what I mean? The Calm and the Storm by John River. I hope you guys will get that. And a lot of you artists need to understand, like, it's a grind, it's a process, you know what I mean? And hopefully you hear from him, somebody who's in a position to actually do his damn thing, you know what I'm saying? So... hopefully you guys can take what he's saying and use it for your own careers, you know what I mean? And just in anything. You don't got to just use it for music, anything. I mean, I hope we can just all motivate each other and be all we can be, you know what I'm saying, man? This life is short. Let's get it popping, you know what I mean? So without further ado, I'm going to drop the interview. No, before I drop the interview, once again, y'all go do that, man. Sneaker Tree, I need you to do that. Swanson, I need you to do that. Saint, I need you to do that. Clover, I need you to do that. A lot of you people, man. Drea, I need you to do that. Honestly, man, just rate my shit. Give me 5 stars. Let me get on the noteworthy shit. You know what I mean? Let me get some exposure and some light. Deepak, I need you to do that. Deepak Harry, I need you to do that, yo. So, yeah, you already know, man. It's Too Real, the podcast. If you want to be a guest on the show, you know what I mean? Hit me up on the email, it's too real the podcast @gmail.com. On Twitter, it's _real. Yeah, man, we here, and we going to drop this interview, man. Listen and understand. God bless. We out. Yo, what's good, everybody? I got somebody here that I'm very proud to have on the show. You know what I mean? Somebody I came across his music, and I was like, yo, this guy's going somewhere, you know what I mean? And his music has a message. It's very relatable, and, you know, I always like music that somebody can look from inside out, you know, and see why certain people do certain things and why people turn out the way they do, you know what I mean? And his music, he definitely always has something to say. So right now, without further ado, we got John River in the building.
How are you, man? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. I met this guy just like last week. I actually saw him in person, been hearing his music, you know, and saw him in person, and he was just humble as fuck. Said he was going to come on the show, and here we are, you know, so glad to have him here. I don't know where to start, but what was it like growing up in Sauga? You been in Sauga all your life, like?
Yeah, I grew up here for 15 years, and then I actually went to Europe. I lived in France for a year,
okay.
Italy and stuff,
So you've been here?
Yeah, but I've been here, yeah.
So what was your childhood like growing up in Mississauga?
Honestly, it was good. Very suburban. a little bit of black, a little bit of white. I feel like that is what Mississauga is from a color standpoint. And just a good balance of community, close group of friends. Everybody kind of knows everybody a little bit, and yeah, nothing extraordinarily problematic of note. I never really wanted to move and go somewhere else. I think I've loved it here since I've been here.
Yeah, you rep Sauga hard, man.
Dude.
For sure. What's the row about? What's the row? Like, is that the block? Like, is that
nah,
like...
so the thing is, like, the row is just what we call Mississauga. So it's short for the Monroe buildings, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
makes sense.
Everybody just calls it the row, and, like, things have just kind of caught on. And that was kind of just our shit, too, just, you know what I mean? We just... A couple of our friends just called it the row, and then it just really caught on. Like, really, really couldn't even have projected or predicted that things would have caught on like it did. But yeah, it's a thing now.
Yeah, like it's in your vocab. Like I met you, first you're like row.
Yeah.
I'm like what? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's in the vocab. It's in the vocab now. I be screaming that out senselessly. Like I don't got any other words in my brain.
Before we get to the music though, yeah, like you said, like. How like I want to know how good of a soccer player were you, and like how much dedication did you put into this? Because obviously, like on some of your tracks, you talk about how you went to Europe and you went to France and you talk about Juventus. Yeah, like a lot of shit was happening. So I want to know because my bro used to play soccer too. You know what I mean? He went through that whole like provincial route, like something like I guess your coach somebody fucked you over. On one of the tracks you were saying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like just like.
Alright, I give you a little bit of soccer background. So yeah, no, I was nice. I was hella nice. For anybody listening, you can catch the work whenever. But no, I was good. I was very good. My brother was very, very good as well. He was on scholarship in Michigan actually. Then he came and joined me in France. My dad actually was the president of the Toronto Soccer Association. So
okay.
I grew up in that setting. I grew up all around the sport. Spent all my summers at Eglinton Flats and Islington Field and just around the sport. It's the family business, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was playing. It's called the SRSL, but that's the South Region Soccer League. That's when I was 12 or 11, I believe, and I was playing with Dixie, actually.
Yeah. And
I remember the year before, I had scored 5 goals.
Yeah.
And the coach had told me at the time, you know what I mean, at this rate, you know, we don't know if we're going to keep him, so that's kind of when my dad's academy had started. That's now his business.
Yeah.
Myself, my brother, and my cousin Kadeem, who's unfortunately passed away, but that's kind of when that started. Every day, every Saturday and Sunday, 2 to 3 hours, and it just got considerably better. And then I scored, I think, 36 goals the next season in like 18 games and led the league in scoring in the regionals, provincials, and I actually got cut from my team after I led the league in scoring because the coach had spoken to my dad, and we had the regional and provincials coming up, and he said, you know, your son's taking away too much attention from my child.
He really said that, like that.
He said that directly to him. That was, I remember, it was at Iceland Soccer Field.
That like he really played those type of politics like
from that age. Now you know, his son is the nicest guy in the world, and he's actually he just whether he got signed or he was just at the MLS Combine. So you know what I mean. I guess
that's literally bullshit, bro.
That is the biggest piece of bullshit ever, and I almost quit. That was the day I almost quit.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, for like 3 to 4 months, I was just I couldn't believe it. And not only did he say that, and I had to leave, and he cut me from the team, but then he told all my teammates that I left the team.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, so my parents were like, they were not having it.
At that age too, like that's really shady. Like
that is actually like just back-breaking. But Oakville was at that time was the best team in the country, and so I went over there. And the thing was though, it's an interesting microcosm of life. I scored 36 goals that year. They had a guy who had scored 41 in all competition. They had a guy who scored 28. So they had their strikers already. So if I wanted to play over there, I was going to have to play a new position. And that's when I started playing in the midfield. Okay. And yeah, I spent a couple of years there, 3 years. Really got my confidence back and stuff like that. It was a big confidence shaker after getting cut. Nothing really works like that. Not only necessarily after getting cut, but after being phenomenal and getting cut. You know,
exactly.
You lose a lot. But when I was 15, I went to the CSL, which is Canadian Soccer League. It's a men's league, actually. That's now called League One. And it has Sigma and everybody in there. Yeah. I was over there when I was 15, and they're just really competitive, extraordinary competitive, 26, 27-year-olds and stuff like that. And then Zidane had actually come here on a Zidane tour.
Jesus
friends.
Christ, that is for me.
Yes.
That's the bar right there. Like, that's where the bar stops. Zidane's definitely that's the best player to me.
Best player.
Yeah.
So my dad had actually that was kind of like his life goal, or at least one of them, and he ended up bringing out Zinedine Zidane on a tour along with a couple other players, and they did Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and I played in the game before Zidane played, and that's when one of the agents from France counted me.
Stop this.
Yeah, and told me, you should come over to France. So when I went over there, you start in the 6th division of France. Everybody wants to get to the 1st division of England, so imagine starting the 6th division of France. And you have to, a lot of racism. You're living by yourself.
Yeah.
You got to cook, you got to clean. There's no parents. There's
what'd you say? Ham roll? What you guys eating out there? Meatloaf rolls?
Oh, meatloaf?
No, you were saying.
Hey, yo, meatloaf was the best days, eh? Oh, my God. Meatloaf was the best. Yo, it was so poor. The situation was so poor over there that when you got bolognese sauce, it had a little bit of meat in the pasta sauce. That was like people would fight over that because because it was you had a lotted amount of food.
So was this more because I know France has a lot of ties with nations like Morocco, Algeria.
Yes.
Was it a lot of people like that over there?
No. Essentially, what I realized in France, and this honestly is very relevant, I think, to the Paris bombings. When I went to France, I realized how segregated the country was. There were 3 types of people in France. Evidently, there were the whites. There were the blacks, who were all Africans, and there were the Algerians. And they were very, very, very separate. So the Algerians and the blacks found common ground at times. The Algerians and the whites never found common ground, and the blacks and the whites never found common ground.
Yeah.
So the blacks that were over there, they were all African, if you saw black people, they were either playing sport, they were either an athlete, or they were selling sunglasses on a beach. And very, very poor Africans.
It's really slums over there for real, right?
It is. So the thing is, we lived in an extraordinary, beautiful area in extraordinarily poor circumstances. So, we lived maybe 10 minutes outside of, maybe 20 minutes outside of Cannes, where the Cannes Film Festival happens. And being that poor, we lived in a room maybe this big, 3 people in a room. You have a stovetop. You have 3 beds, all by each other.
Sorry to cut you off. Is this before you get to is just because you're in League 6, or is this it's just what the situation is?
It's just what the situation is, and the situation in the league, it all correlates.
Yeah.
So when you get over there, you kind of go through the back routes a little bit. So you have a handler, and they deal with the representation of your parents. So your parents may send okay, you're hungry, we're hungry, we haven't got enough food out here. They may send €100.
But these guys handle it.
And you may only get 60.
Yo.
You see what I'm saying? You real life rap. Yeah, you may only get 60, yeah. And that's when there's a lot of things. You just start learning about bribery, to win games, to lose games. That happens. You start learning about
betting.
Extraordinary amount of racism. You understand that you're stock, and that will you just grow up a lot. So there's no parents. If you want to go see your friends, if you get homesick, if you're injured, go home because it's too competitive to any degree to not have success. So you got to kill in Division 6.
Yeah.
Then you got to kill with the under-17s who play in Division 5. Then you got to kill with the under-19s. You got to kill with the under-21s. You just have to kill at every stop. And when you first get there, nobody passes you the ball. Because you're Canadian. Definitely primarily because you're black too.
Jeez.
You go in certain places, they won't serve you forever. And mind you, this is coming out of grade 10 in Mississauga.
Yeah. You never experienced. Yeah, this is exactly. This ain't St. Louis.
Racism ended when Martin Luther King got shot. That's what they teach you. You know what I mean? You get over there, people spit on you. They have they make monkey sounds.
Yeah.
Bananas
Even because obviously I know that happens at the professional, but this is happening at the minors. This is fucking crazy.
It doesn't really happen on the field. The majority of the problem is off the field. Because on the field, is where you're best. You know what I mean? That's where you're the most confident. But off the field, I speak fluent French as well.
Yeah. You just picked that up. You picked it up.
Yeah, so I understood more than anybody else that was there with me, which is also a lot more painful because you understand every time somebody calls you a nigger, every time an 11-year-old girl calls you a nigger, every time an 11-year-old boy calls you a nigger. So that depreciation of self is something that will happen very quickly if you're not extraordinarily mentally.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta know what you're there for.
Exactly. So you could go home.
Yeah.
But then how are you gonna go home and tell everybody, yeah, I left to France to go be that guy, and then I came back because I couldn't deal with it. So, obviously back at home, nobody really understands the situation or what's going on. Like, you go from, like, first world country to, like, second to third world environment. However, the only thing that can get you out of that is just absolutely playing extraordinary football with soccer. And that's exactly what started to happen. So my brother left Michigan, and he came in January and joined me there. And when he got there, he said, yo, like, this is like nothing else I've ever.
Especially being on a scholarship in Michigan, right? You're getting everything taken care of.
Exactly, and you coming out here, so that was just hella real. But you just gotta ball out. And then after that, I played well enough that the next year they took us to Italy, and that was a different situation. Now you have team dinners, you're bored like. We played a whole bunch of teams: Lecce, Parma, Juventus, and so on and so forth. Chievo, a lot of Serie A teams, and there's a guy named Raheem Edwards. He actually plays at TFC right now. So him, my brother, and myself. This was going into December. So in January, Chievo, Juventus, and a couple other teams had all invited us on a month and a half trial at their club. So. At that time, though, I stayed here and decided that I was going to rap. So my brother went back to Juventus, Raheem went back to Juventus, and the other clubs. It wasn't the first big club. I'd been at Bayern Munich when I was 14. I was at Rangers when I was 12. Just on, like, trips and stuff.
You could have been something. Like for this, with this soccer show, you could have definitely, if you were...
I think I still can. You know,
no, for sure, yeah.
No, definitely. Somebody else will be like, you watch. But, I wasn't injured or not able-bodied. I think that's what separates me and everybody else when it comes to rap. Mm-hmm. Is because, like, when I hear certain music now, let's say, like, Bryson Tiller is extraordinary. And let's give him as much credit as he's due. The next 32 people that come after Bryson Tiller that sound exactly
like him.
Bryson
Tiller,
exactly.
Just
because they find that, okay, he's done something that's successful, I can make a little bit of money if I just try and make something just as close to that as possible. Yeah. Do they love music? Maybe not. Do they really give a shit about the quality of music? Not. Do they give a fuck about what they're saying or what they communicate? No, not at all.
No, they don't, yeah.
But, they see a financial opportunity, and that's kind of how they come up. So that's why, for me, in music, it's like I didn't get into rap so I could get
money. Yeah,
rich.
Exactly. You had a route. You really had everything.
You know what I mean? Like, I had, like, whatever, 80,000.
I'm looking at you like you're crazy right now. Like, exactly. No, because before, like, as nice as you are as rap, like, like, you were literally in the thick of things. Like, you were, like, you know what I mean?
I was already at the promised land in another capacity.
Yeah, because once, like, the way it is in Europe and the soccer shit, like, once you hit 17, 18, you're lit. Like,
you're blessed. So I was already in that situation, but then my thing came to a couple things. Like, obviously, I didn't have a European passport, which means they send you to Switzerland or Luxembourg for like 2 years to get a European passport. Then you got to come back to the same club that you tried out for. That's like a whole mess. On top of that, I realized I was never going to be the best in the world. And I remember I played a game, this under-17 Italian national. He played for the Italian national team. And we won, and I scored a goal that game, and I got an assist that game. We won 4-2, probably the best player in that game. However, the guy beside me, I didn't even know his name, and I felt he was 10 times better than me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of the way Europe works. These guys have been in professional clubs since they're 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you just, like, could I have been the best? Who knows? But I think you get to a point where you realize, I'm never going to be the best in the world. And if you reach that point in anything that you love, that shit will kill you. And you start looking around at your life. Is there anything else that I can be the best
and conquer
in the
that,
world? Yeah, the best in the world. And rap was always that thing that I still had the ceiling to be the best in the world. And so, to me, it was a no-brainer. I had to start at the bottom. I left the top of something, started at the bottom. Everybody thought I lost my mind. But I bet you if I quit rap right now and went back to soccer, everybody would be like, ooh,
you're tripping. Yeah, exactly.
Tripping.
Exactly. So, you're honestly, man, that's just a blessing to be able to actually succeed in those two fields,
Those
which are
two fields, it's
it's nuts, man. So like,
Yeah.
I read that basically you should do like motivational speaking and stuff like. So that's where you first started knowing that you could put words together and stuff, right?
Well, I think when I was younger, I guess I've been rapping since I can remember. I saw a video of me when I was like 8 or 9, and I was rapping. I was like, okay, cool, this is lit. Flow 93.5 was a huge influence just because like that's where we'd hear all the music and stuff. I guess I was naturally inclined to that. We started off with beatboxing. My brother was always trying to teach me how to beatbox, and I started rapping, and that became a thing. In regards to speaking, yeah, I used to do speeches when I was like in grade 4, grade 5, and grade 6 in French and English, and then I went to the regionals, and I went to the provincials, and then you kind of get sanctioned into the national speech competitions, and I'd give speeches on like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali and Nelson Mandela. Those were and then child soldiers and then slavery, and then they all seem to have a very common theme. I remember when I was in grade 3 or grade 4, or was it grade 3 or grade 4? Could have been grade 3 or grade 4. We had a reading box. We used to have these reading boxes. We put these books in, and like you could open it up, put your books in and stuff. So I remember I was just like really. CBC Radio 1 was always on my house. People don't know how important that shit is. That is the most important thing ever. So like my parents always say, look, in the car you can listen to Flow, you can listen to whatever you want, but in the house we're gonna listen to the news.
Yeah.
And so when I was young, 8, 9, I understand that there's all these insane things going on in the Middle East, Syria, what's going on in America, Africa, like the world. I'm starting to see the world from what it is, just because every time I'm at home,
you're hearing the news.
I'm hearing the news.
Yeah.
I don't have to see it to a point where it's scary. You're just hearing the news and you're hearing that, so you're always aware. So I remember grade 3, I think I took my reading box and I went to the principal's office and I was like, we need to donate money to the Red Cross and we need a box to donate. She said, well, you know what, if you set it up, you can do it. And now when I think about that shit was hella whack. You should have set that up. But anyway, I took my reading box out of my class and we decorated and stuff and we put it in the office, and that became the Red Cross box where kids could go and donate. We contacted a representative from the Red Cross and they'd come and pick up the money from our school every month, and that's how Springfield Public School started donating money to the Red Cross, which they still do now. You know what I mean? So things like that you kind of remember as you get older, and you're just like, okay, cool, like that just mattered. It always mattered. You know what I mean? So, everything is crazy, because when you get to this point in your life, especially when you're rapping, you got to start looking back at everything that led you to this point. What led me to these opinions? Like, how did I literally become the guy that I am now? Like, what? Yeah. Like, I look at other rappers. I look at other people. I'm like, how the hell was I built? Like, how was I made? Like, how was I structured to end up at 21 and have these opinions and stuff like that? So as you kind of look back,
you remember everything, the news, everything. Your parents were grooming you and everything.
Exactly, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, bro. Honestly, I'm just by talking to you, man. Like, I could just. Have you ever took like an IQ test or anything like that?
Yo, I have, and I was super upset. I was like, yo, I want it was like I took an IQ test when I was like maybe 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And I was super mad, and everybody's like, why are you mad? Like, you did well. I'm like, I don't want to do well. I'm a genius. I know I'm a genius. It was super funny. But I started to look up this thing called practical intelligence.
Yeah.
And I always said to like my mom and stuff like that, and sometimes people who are around me, like, they say, you know, like, you're the smartest person I've ever met in my life. And sometimes I know it's going to sound super cocky and conceited, but I'm just honest. And I started to look at practical intelligence, and they said with IQ, there's an IQ test that we have, but then there's a practical intelligence test, which I haven't taken yet. But practical intelligence is kind of like almost like real life. Yeah,
you're well-rounded in a lot of things. No, for sure.
Being able to put the picture together, because I think the problem with me, one of the biggest issues is the burden of like massive amounts of feeling inner intelligence. I think it challenges you to do things that you might not do. So for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. I use this example, let's say, with girls and relationships, right? So I think the problem that I've always had is that I can always see like the mountain, and that's the expression that I use and people that work with me use, is that, you know, John can see the mountain, which makes things a lot more difficult. So let's say if you were climbing a flight of stairs, you know what I mean, and you saw like 10 steps, you're like, all right, cool, let's get it.
Yeah.
Climb it. You know what I mean? But yo, once you get to step number 9, you're like, hold up.
That's it.
There's 4 more steps.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you climb 4 steps, and you think you're about to reach the platform, and it's a platform. You get the platform, like, all right, we made it. And then you look up, like, what? There's only 13 more.
Mm-hmm.
And you climb the 13. That's what a lot of people's lives are like. Before you know it, they ended up climbing 300 steps, and they got to the pinnacle. You know what I mean? But they didn't see that they were going to have to climb 300 steps.
Yeah.
I think the problem with me is that from at the base, I tend
You're
to
looking
see,
all the way top, yeah.
I can see all 300, which makes it a lot more difficult to start.
You're not gradually taking it by the process. You're literally trying to just attack it one time. How am I going to...
And I can't help at the fact I can see 300. So for a lot of people, they can do things and like, oh yeah, I started, I didn't know it was going to be that difficult, and blah, 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 and then before you know it, I ended up there. The problem with me is
Your
that...
ambition is just too... It's large. Yeah, not for sure.
It's like a vision of being able to be like, oh, there's 400 steps there.
Yeah.
Now, if everybody knew they were going to climb 400 steps, nobody would climb.
Yeah.
With me, I can see the 400 steps. The guy beside me might be able to only see like 10, but I can see all 400, which makes it a lot more difficult for me to start that process. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think just seeing the, like, further down the line changes the way you do a lot of things. That's probably why I don't make trap music right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no offense to anybody who does, you know what I mean, to each his own, but that's probably why I don't make trap music. That's probably why I haven't decided to, like, put out a R&B/rap album at the moment. You know what I mean? Because as much as I would see the 3 steps of, like, okay, I can blow, this is going to be successful, I can't help but I can see 3 years down the line. You know what I mean?
See, yeah, exactly why I want to say what I say, because from what I'm taking in of your, like, before we even get to all your music and all that, like, how you approach, same way you said that, like, you're not trying to make a trap single, you're not trying to, like, I look at you as, like, my favorite rapper is J. Cole, right? And I just see, like, how you approach your career, like, you're going the route of basically building a fan base, you know what I mean? Your music actually touches people, so it's like, gradually, it's just gonna happen for you. Like, I don't know what you did, but like, I literally go and you have a following already, like, and you have a really big following. You know what I mean? So it just shows that, like, yeah, you're putting in the groundwork already. You're not trying to just make that overnight success. You're gonna have something that's really gonna be built for like a long time. Because when I listen to the calm, listen to the storm, like, I can see you reflecting on your life, and it's a lot of shit I can relate to, a lot of shit everybody here can relate to, you know what I mean? And that's what I like. I like music with substance, you know what I mean? And that's exactly what you got going on for you. Who were your influences, like, growing up?
Rap-wise?
Yeah.
Lupe Fiasco was, like, everything for a long time. The best one, my mom and I were just talking about this yesterday. I was more talking. She's like, can I go to bed now? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Lupe's great.
Yeah.
And, but now Lupe Fiasco was, like, everything to me for a long time. He has this one line, which, like, is the line that premises my whole career. He's like, it's on the Ignorant Shit remix, and he's like, friend, this ain't a pen, this a paintbrush, and I intend to rearrange how they paint us. And for me, that shit was like, oh my God, that was everything.
Yeah.
The moment I heard that, I was like, yo, like, it's not a pen, it's a paintbrush, and he's trying to paint us.
Yeah.
Like, yo, that, and my brother's like, shut up, man.
Yeah.
Just listen, I'm gonna stop playing this when you keep talking. So that was everything to me because Conflict Diamonds, he had that song, a song called Conflict Diamonds. We talked about Africa and Sierra Leone and me, like Mr. Red Cross. And I was like, wow, like, he's talking about Africa and where diamonds come from, and like, oh my God. So that to me, that was everything. And then Lupe was like the brain. He was a genius, and he wasn't only a genius. He was me. He was my guy. He was a nerd. I read. My mom read my brother and I the first Harry Potter, and then my brother read maybe 1 or 2, maybe 1. Started watching the movies. I read all 7.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? And even when I went to Europe, I read 12 books in 3 months. I was popular. I played soccer, but I was a nerd. I read.
You're just an intelligent guy,
Thank
man. Like,
you,
no,
man.
honestly, like, a lot of people when they talk, like, they just bullshit. Like, everything you're saying, like, you're not just, like, no, a lot of people just talk just for the sake of talking. Like, yo, you're literally saying shit. It's coming out, but everything's making sense. Like, you know what I mean? So everything's well opinionated, man.
Yeah. So I read a series of unfortunate events.
Lemony Snicket?
Lemony Snicket. That was amazing. I didn't even watch the movie because I was so mad. I was like, how are you going to make one movie for all 3 books? And it was like, nobody cares about it. I care. Like, you know what I mean? So I think with all of that, when Lupe came out and he was talking about, like, he didn't look like a gangster, and because I wasn't a gangster, you know what I mean? He didn't look like a gangster. He didn't look like he wanted to shoot or kill anybody. Like I didn't want to shoot or kill anybody either, but he still wanted to change the world, like kind of Tupac did. And I love Tupac, and like I wanted to be Tupac in a lot of senses, but. I mean, I didn't want to be violent in any extent. I thought violence...
Dog life.
Yeah, dog life and a love life. You know what I mean? And I was like, I didn't want to be violent at all. But I still want to change the world. So I was like, what rapper can I be? Like, Tupac, it was amazing. That was like my hero, but he was violent. I didn't want to be violent. I didn't think anybody should be violent. I was like, let's all put the guns down. Like, if we could just get rid of guns, all the problems would go away. And then Lupe came, and he was like, he looked like me a little bit. He wore the same clothes that I wore, and he was still he still knew as much, and he was trying to change the world. And I was like, okay, it's my guy. You know what I mean? And then as you get older, I went from Lupe straight to Cole.
Yeah.
And that was just that.
You met J. Cole, right?
I did meet J. Cole.
Bro,
yes.
you don't even understand.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list for life.
Man.
Like, literally. Like,
great guy. Like, greatest guy. Super tall.
Yeah. What was that like, man? Because you had a verse on, it was a Hope City too.
Yes.
And you know what's actually funny? Because, like, when I listened to the
Calm. Yeah.
like, I could really hear, like, the Cole. Like, I could, like,
yeah.
and as much as that's, like, you're not finding yourself, but because I could hear that as my favorite rapper, it's what kept me listening. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So I definitely, it made sense to me. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's who you were listening to, so you had to find yourself.
Yeah.
So,
and honestly, I look at it like, sometimes people ask me, like, well, you don't sound like J. Cole anymore. Like, so what do you sound like now? And, like, your first mixtape, I think about it, like, look, man, like, you hear the majority of these rappers. First time I probably heard J. Cole, he was probably 21 or 22.
Yeah.
First time I heard Kendrick Lamar, he was like 24. You mean, when I dropped the Calm, I put it out when I was
younger
17.
than them, yeah, exactly.
But the majority of stuff that I'd written on that mixtape, that's when I was 16. I mean, so you heard Kendrick Lamar 8 years later than the first time you heard John River, you know what I mean? So for me...
And even J. Cole, when you listen to his old stuff, you hear he sounds like Eminem.
Eminem,
you know? Yeah, exactly.
A lot like Eminem.
The Therapist,
like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And you hear the Cannabis, you hear the Therapist. Yeah. I mean, so for me, it's like everybody, you need a base. You need a base. And I came from sports, and that has so much to do with why I sound like how I sound, because in sports, they show you the best. You watch hours and hours and hours of tape of the best, and then you try to be as close to them as possible. We only love Kobe because he's the closest thing to Jordan. So when people say, like, you know what I mean? That's
how you feel. We're going to leave that for another day. You know what I mean? Kobe's the best ever to me. You know what I mean?
I had a long period of time where I felt like, Kobe could be the best ever as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when people talk about LeBron, they compare them. We compare everybody to Mike.
That's a standard. That's the bar.
That's the bar. So for me, when I came into rap, and they're like, "Oh, you sound like J. Cole." Honest to God,
that's great.
What was the problem with that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the best doctor in the world. If you had a doctor and you're like, "Wow, he's pretty close to the best doctor in the world," you wouldn't be like, "That's like That's
a compliment." Yeah.
That's a compliment. I wouldn't go to a doctor and he'd be like, "You know what? You need blood pressure medication." And then I go to the next doctor. He's like, "You know what? You need blood pressure." I'm like, "Nah, you biting it. You biting it." That's what the last doctor said. Come up with your own prescription.
Yeah.
He's like, "All right, take aspirin. I die the next week." You know what I mean? In this world, the standard is quality. Nike, Adidas, they're quality.
Yeah.
We don't go to Adidas like, "Man, your shoes are good just like Nike's."
No,
Makes
exactly.
a bad shoe.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. So, you know what I mean? But in rap, apparently, it does. You know, and that's what I had to learn very, very early. But it was great because I was able to understand, like, how I wanted what I wanted to be like, and then incorporate myself into it. You know what I mean? So it's like having a base recipe and a base formula, and then you add in all your own ingredients, and then you gotta cook it, and or bake it and bake it and bake it. Before you know it, you got a completely different cake. You guys may have started with the same pan, but you got a different cake. But that pan will keep your guidelines, and that's why it's so important. I encourage a lot of rappers, don't try and be different. And that's the best thing I could have done. You don't want to try necessarily be the same, but don't try and be different. Whatever naturally comes to you
it'll come to you.
It'll come to you. So the fact that at 16 I didn't sound exactly like myself, honestly, is beautiful. Because for you to sound exactly like yourself, which is kind of starting to happen now, you have to know exactly who you are. So if I knew exactly who I was at 16, like, that'd be fucked up a little bit, you know what I mean? And I hope I would. I wonder what the fuck I'd be talking about, you know what I mean? So it's good to still have to follow people when you're 16. You know what I mean? And whether somebody said, you know what, you sound like Kendrick Lamar in your fifth mixtape, you sound like J. Cole. I'm glad that at 16, I wasn't going out and speaking to people without following older people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had to follow Kendrick. I had to follow Cole. I had to follow Big Crit because I didn't know enough at 16 to be speaking to anybody without following guidelines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or else it's just not, like, I'm just not a reputable source of information. So I followed Crit. I followed Kendrick. I followed Cole. I followed Drake. I followed. And then when you get to the point where they're like, okay, good. Like, you know enough now that you can start speaking to people solely off of your own experience, then you could kind of find yourself a little bit. You know what I mean? So I pity anybody who listened to a 16-year-old for life advice without a parent almost, so to speak, they're co-signing / looking over what they're saying. And that's what those rappers kind of did for me. They're like the guardian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, cool. All right, this is a guideline. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So that helped me a lot, I think, at that time. And it's helped my transition now.
Was it a calculated decision to actually name your mixtape The Calm, then The Storm was going to come after? Was it?
Yes.
So you knew, like, I'm just going to...
So originally, there was like The Calm, The Storm, The Wake, and then The Rise, and then Hope City. That's how it was going to be originally. Okay. You know what I mean? I figured you know what I mean? I might have to skip. We might, where the world's going, I might not have to drop 5 mixtapes before I drop the album. You know what I mean? But, that was kind of the whole thing. The whole thing with The Calm, and even with the cover, was that the world was sleeping on me, you know, and that's why I was sleeping in The Calm, kind of, you know, the world was sleeping on me. And in The Storm, I felt like, all right, they were still kind of like shitting on me, kind of sitting on me, so I'm sitting down. And, but yeah, definitely The Calm and The Storm, and then it was essentially kind of like The City. Because to me, when I dropped The Calm, I was that guy. I knew I was that guy. I already knew I was that guy. I was the future. I was going to be the best in the world when I dropped The Calm. However, it's the same thing when newscasters would tell people, you need to leave New Orleans. This hurricane will ruin everything in your life. But people stayed. You know why? Because the storm wasn't there yet. But if you knew that The Calm was the storm, like if you listen to those news reports and they said, you need to evacuate New Orleans right now, even before you saw it, if you knew, you left. So for anybody who knew, like, listening to John River, that like, yo, don't trip, don't worry. The fact that the views, the fact that the fans, the fact that the accolades aren't here, I still can tell he's that guy. For them, The Calm was the storm. You know what I mean? But for everybody else, the majority of people, The Calm was The Calm. There was no hype. The storm wasn't there yet. So even though you're trying to tell them, honestly, 99.9% of people, they don't listen.
Yeah, exactly. No, for sure.
You know what happened?
The storm came.
The storm comes.
No, okay.
You know, the storm comes.
Bro, like, I gotta ask, like, where did you, like, because even the intro, like, on the Calm mixtape, like, the little girl, where'd you get all this shit from? Like, honestly, like, bro, like, at such a young age, like, where did you decide, like, your first mixtape at 16, 17, it sounded like how it was supposed to sound, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I honestly, I had no idea. At first, I was just going through, you know, the project a little bit, and the project was done. And then when the project was done, I was like, I feel like we could add something, and I wanted to that nonviolent again. I felt like, yo, am I telling a story? Am I telling my story? Am I telling enough of my story? And then Kennedy, which is my best friend, Mitchell's little sister. I was staying at their house at the time. Actually, we had lost our house, and I just thought to myself, you know what? What if I told a story? Like, what if I told more of a story? What if I actually wove it all together? What if I actually wove it all together, and what if actually, you know, I was able to paint this picture, and actually paint and kind of bring it all together, and then once that happened, oh my God, the light went on, and we started recording that, and it was amazing. It changed everything. And we were going to continue the story to a deeper extent on the second mixtape. We still kept it, so we had some continuancy, but yeah, it was fantastic. It was really fantastic. And yeah, so Kennedy's back a little bit in the second mixtape. We still talk about her a little bit. But yeah, she almost went from a fictional character, and now we're kind of bringing her into real life because this mixtape was non-fictional, but at the same time, Kennedy was still in the story. And then the last mixtape, the story was fictional, but Kennedy was also in that story. So that was also like the transition of Kennedy is like a big thing as well.
Yeah.
And a consistent kind of factor in the projects and stuff.
What was I? Like you said, you're going on a college tour, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how. Did you graduate high school?
I did not graduate high school.
Does the college know this? Like, cause there's a track. Was it Matthew's song? Matthew's song. Like that's one of my favorite songs on the song.
Yeah.
And I think you're like.
Oh, to the backup plan. I'm telling people.
Fuck. You're like, hey, say hell. If you didn't drop out of high school, if you dropped out of high school, say hell yeah. If you dropped out of college, say hell yeah. And for sure, you're giving a message that college students need, and you're definitely like your music is definitely something that people need to hear. But are they aware? Like,
hey. Only God knows, man.
When I remember when I heard that, I was like, when I thought about it, when you told me, I'm like, this guy has a line really saying, say hell yeah.
Drop that a college, say
yeah.
I mean, and yeah, we're going on university, probably college tour. Crazy, right? Yeah, I have no idea. I don't think they do. I don't think they listen that much. I guess they're gonna find out that night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that is an interesting perspective. Super. That's actually hilarious. That's very funny. Yeah, they don't know. They don't know. I hope they don't find out. But yeah, I think that because when I went to Europe actually. I was a pretty good student, but they could only send you with 2 courses per semester. So every semester that I was over there, I did 2 courses rather than 4. So I naturally fell behind. I remember I came back here and I started doing my courses and stuff, and I had like 5 left. And then I had a show in Atlanta, or I had to hand in The Great Gatsby by Monday for an online course. I was like, yo, Mom, like, come on. Like, and she's like, you can chill a little. I was like, yo, come on, B. Like, what do you mean? And I hadn't gone back yet. And I say yet, but I haven't gone back yet. But yeah, that was a big part of the mixtape too. You know what I mean? I just want to be like, I'm a big prerequisite guy, and I just want to make sure everybody looks at their prerequisites and in their life and what they want to do, and not go out and necessarily feel that school is the end all be all. You know what I mean? And a degree is the end all be all. And getting that standard education, is an end all be all, because it's look at your life. Look at what you want to do, and then look at what do I need to be able to do this. If that is a doctorate, then yes, you need to go to school for 7 years.
Yeah.
And then another, and I suggest you do, and whatever the case may be. However, if you decide, you know what, I'm not going to be happy in my life unless I'm rapping or I'm painting or I'm doing something that does not need 4 years of a $15,000 debt incurring process, then don't go to school. I will tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you, if you don't need it and you can't afford, if you're going to even have to take OSAP, $10,000. If you're going to go $40,000 in debt for something that is going to be there, that has absolutely nothing to do with what you want to do for the rest of your life, you might be better taking that $40,000 and just putting it into your rap.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You understand what I'm saying? So, raising that thought process and also telling kids, yo, if you don't get the Pythagorean theorem and A plus B squared equals C squared, the world still exists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The world's not over. You know what I mean? If you don't get that, like, that one I did get. You know what I mean? But if we're talking about trigonometry, stuff like that, and, like, that shit just doesn't make sense to you.
It's not applying to
you're
what
you stupid, then it's not for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not, go find, don't worry, stop worrying about the shit that you don't understand and start finding something that you do understand. Then find out how to make that a business. And if during that process you find out needing to make that a business, it means you got to go back to school, then go. Yeah. But don't go to school until you find something that you need that requires an education.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to actually enjoy being in school. You're going to do 10 times better. Yeah, okay. If I'm in school knowing, like, yo, I need to get this for what I want to do, oh my God, I'm going to be motivated. I'm not going to be focusing on partying. I'm going to not waste anybody's money. I'm going to go to school. The job for the teacher is going to be easier. The job for my peers is going to be easier. The job for me is going to be easier. People drop out of school because they don't want to be there because they don't know why the hell they're there. You know what I mean? So go find context in your life. And if that context is like, you know what? All right, cool. I need school for this. Oh, you're going to go to school so excited. Like, yo, once this is done, I get to go back and do that shit that I love. You know what I mean? colleges don't know.
So like, what's the tour like? How many schools you going to? And
Right. So right now, the tour is called the 14 Days in March tour, and we have the first date is in Carleton, March 2nd. So that was kind of like for Carleton and Ottawa University. March 3rd we have Queens the next day in Kingston. March 8th we have Willowy and Waterloo, which is going to be like absolute madness. March 10th we have UTM, which has Cartier actually. And then the last date is either going to be Brock, Western, or so those 4 dates are confirmed. And it's kind of just adding on the last date of the 14 days at Western or Brock or Windsor or wherever the case may be.
How did you get the support? Like how are you doing so well? I feel like, honestly, because on this side of the border it's so hard. You know what I mean? So I feel in the time period that you've been doing your thing, I feel like you're ahead of time. Like, you still have enough time to actually get where you're going, to the top of the mountain, as you would say. You know what I mean? I think you're definitely on course. Like, how did you do that? Because like the main basis of this show is like we try to like give artists, you know what I mean, as much jewels as they can to basically like how to handle their careers. Because a lot of people still are thinking about labels, you know, stupid things like that, which is done. You know, those days are over. You know what I mean? And you actually have a movement. I literally see it. Like, like you said, you're going on a college tour. A lot of people can't do that. Like 14 times. How are you doing that?
Yeah, man. Honestly,
besides quality music, of course.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. And what you said was so important, because you're like, you know what? You're on course right now, and that's exactly what it's all about. The rubric. And I always knew when I was in class, you know, the teacher would show you, this is, you know, you got that rubric with like a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. They always showed you what would get you an A, what would get you a B, what would get you a C, and what would get you a D. So what I did, like even for my first mixtape, The Calm, I went through 132 critically acclaimed mixtapes. 77, 80, 87, 97, 107. 100, I sound like DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
107.
That's what you went through.
107 American critically acclaimed mixtapes, and 5, I want to say 15 critically acclaimed Canadian mixtapes. And I made a rubric out of all of them. I went through 122 mixtapes, and I said, what do they all have in common? And I started to draw an outline. How many rapping hooks? How many singing hooks? How many self-produced? How many were produced by other people? How many features? How many songs on each mixtape? What was the average length of each mixtape? After 102 critically acclaimed mixtapes, I was able to make a rubric of, this is what a critically acclaimed mixtape has to have. This is yeah.
Fuck, bro. Bro, like, yo, you really not like when I mean that. Like, I'm trying to say, like, yo, like, I truly believe, yo, like, obviously soccer, like, yo, rap. I feel I'm just from like speaking to you, like, I feel like, yo, whatever it is you wanted to do, you would have been able to do it. Like,
yeah, thank you.
Like, the shit that you just like, at that age, that's what you, bro. Like,
it's kind of fucked, right?
The dedication that you have is crazy, bro. Like that. I know a lot of people say they love what they do. They rap and they love, but they're not willing to put in that work. You know what I mean? Like, and everything I could say, like that rubric you created, yo, the project was so heavy that it just shows that you really took the time to research before the music. Yeah. You know what I mean? You actually did yo, that's crazy, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I looked at like where artists were. I thought, and then like we had this thing on my wall. Like, my walls were all like written. I would write everything on my walls. It was ridiculous. It looked super crazy, but all around my room, and we had this thing over how many songs were relatable. I went through like, and then another 10 critically, like the top 10 critically acclaimed projects. And I was super early on the Chance to Rap Away. If he was supposed to be on my first mixtape, we missed the flight to Chicago. It didn't happen, but. Well, we didn't miss it. It got canceled. But I had 10 Day on there as well, which was like his first mixtape. And when it had just came out, we had a college dropout. We had Lupe's project. We had Blue, Below the Heavens. And we said, okay, how many songs on here were relatable? How many were just special? How many were like, how many were very catchy with phrases? How many words were in each title? Like what exactly? And it's insane. These rappers probably don't even know, but the amount of commonalities that their best projects the amount of things their best projects all had in common. There was a rubric there. There's an outline. Everybody did things a little differently, but they all had the base same formula. If you rapped hooks more than you sung hooks, they would call you more conscious. So like if you look at Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, they would rap their own hooks. If you had features and other people come and sing on your hooks and stuff like that,
Mainstream.
it made it be a little bit more mainstream. Like, you know, if you had Kanye West, when he sung his own hooks and stuff like that.
The melodies, yeah.
The melodies, because you could hear him singing, the relatability went through the roof, and you get more connected with him, and they'd be bigger. And I found, and then Drake, of course, was singing all of his own hooks. Then were they rapping their own hooks or were they singing their own? Either way, they would do it. So all of that was like, that made the base for the calm. So what I looked at too is, where was this person at their second mixtape? When did they blow up? What mixtape did they blow up by? And if you haven't reached this point by mixtape number 1, you're not allowed to release mixtape number 2. So that's what kind of I came down to. How many downloads did he have on his first mixtape? How many views? We went to datpiff.com. This is crazy, but for Raz Fresco, Deep Pride, Drake, Rich Kid, every single Toronto rapper, and we went to their mixtapes, and I said, okay, how many views did they have on their mixtape, and then how many downloads did they have, and how many listens did they have? That showed their interaction. And honest to God, the list was like, Drake was number 1, Tory Lanez was number 2, Deep Pride was number 3. The order of biggest rapper in the country was actually just based off of views divided by downloads and divided by listens. It showed you how many people, how core was their fan base.
Yeah.
Because you went to there, you saw that could be DatPiff, that could be Worldstar. You could have paid blogs for people to go there.
Yeah.
Sure, the views were there, but what
downloads.
percentage of exactly
The downloads?
The downloads were the fans. Those are people who listen to your shit every day.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to see, okay, Drake is the biggest rapper in the country. Tory Lanez is the second. Deep Pride is the third. Raz Fresco was like the fifth or the sixth and the fourth. Classified, you could see it through the numbers.
Yeah.
They existed.
Yeah.
And that's what I looked for. Give me something of substance. Let me try and find something. And that shit really helped me. That's why people are like, yo, your second mixtape came out so long after the first one. Because I hadn't reached the check marks that I needed to reach.
You need to know that, but bro, just because you know that once these people that are gonna download it, you're gonna cater to them with this next mixtape, and you know that you already have this amount of people, and one thing people don't understand is like, I'm reading that book Contagious, you know, so it's like,
amazing book.
So you know he speaks on social currency, so like if you have like 4,000 people that download your mixtape, that word of mouth of those 4,000 people, it's gonna travel, and because the music is good, people are gonna want to be the first to put somebody on to John River, like, yo, you know, and then from there, bro, like I just see it, like I really see what you're doing out here, and it's crazy, man. I see exactly where you're going, man. Like shit's crazy. What did Redway mean to you, man? Who's Redway to you? You know what I mean?
That's just honest to God, it's the homie. Definitely I'm like a mentor to an extent. You know what I mean, and just somebody who was from here and who was doing the exact same thing that I was doing. From maybe like 10 minutes down the road or 10 minutes down Dundas. You know what I mean? And at first, we see it and it was just like, what's up? And then we had a good relationship with Tyler Ennis and his family and CIA Bounce. And that's where we kind of got a lot closer. And that's somebody who, I'd start talking to like my career about, and he'd start talking about, his career. And before you know it, he just starts showing me a lot of shit that was just the game, the inside of the game, inside of the game. I was very
naive.
I would say naive in regards to people's personalities. So I understood the numbers. I understood the program. I knew how to get from where I had everything planned out. What he would show you is like, all right, this person doesn't fuck with this person. If you ask that person for that, he's gonna ask them. But mind you, if he asks you for that, you gotta give him this. And this person doesn't like this guy. So the reason why you didn't get that blog posting is because you went to him. But had I gone to him first, my nigga, thank you. What the fuck, because you can't talk to anybody else about it because nobody gets like where the industry,
politics,
nobody gets the politics. So he was like, he was very outspoken, right? So he got the short end of the stick. He got the long end of the stick. Like he got a lot of the interior politics. And not only was he getting a lot of the interior politics, I was a lot more politically correct than he was. So he's like, yo, listen, you're like, people like you more than like me. I got tattoos. He's real as fuck, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yo, my nigga, I got tattoos, blah, blah, blah. You could play this game perfectly. You just gotta understand, yo, this person, they're just not gonna fuck with you because, and I'm like, yo, but why would they not, considering that, like, I'm very logical and, like, I was very, like, peaceful, you know what I mean? So I'd be on some shit, you'd be like, nigga, they don't give a fuck. They don't want
people,
you.
It's a melting pot. The melting pot,
exactly.
yeah.
So he gave me that reel, and that reel started to just, like, cultivate, like, that, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
You know, so I was always a savage to an extent. Like, I'd always, like, I would get it by any means necessary. He just would let you know, yo, my nigga, you gotta bring it out here. You gotta bring it out here. You don't need to necessarily bring it out here. Yo, if you don't bring it out here, these niggas will try you. You can't let them niggas try you. You know what I mean? In that sense. And you know, these niggas won't fucking. I was like, I'm not worried about the people who don't see. Like, nah, you got just kind of those extraordinary, intangible, interior things. And then it became more frequent. And then we had a situation with, an artist to some degree, and give him a call, and he'd be like, yo, blah, 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 this is what the situation is, case may be. I'm like, yo, why in the world would he be like, yo, it's because they're looking at it from this. They're not looking at it like you. They're not looking at it logically. You got to understand that they see it that way. So the only way for you to get out of this like that, and you're just like, dope. And he was always 1,000% honest, extraordinarily honest. And he spoke about OVO. He spoke to me about things about OVO that nobody else would really care to touch on. He spoke about things about Toronto rap that nobody else would care to touch on. He spoke about America and the basis of going out there, and we had many conversations privately where he would just show me like what it's been like to go through 5 years before me.
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
It's like, which is amazing. It's like it's like somebody going, when you play a game on like Mario Kart and you go through the course and like you fuck up and then okay, cool, I can't go that quickly on this turn because like that's exactly what it's like. Except for I didn't have to fuck up the first time. Yeah. Because he already gave it shit, and he was just like, yo, that you can't, if you don't put the brakes on that turn, you're gonna crack. Doesn't matter. I don't care if you think you can negotiate. It doesn't matter. You can't negotiate. And when you come to that point, you gotta stop because it was amazing. It was honestly extraordinary. You know what I mean? So to lose that was like that's what makes it irreplaceable. You know what I mean? Because nobody else. Somebody's like, well, you might find nobody else is going to be older than me from here, and doing the exact same thing that I'm doing with the same desire to like get it by any means necessary. That can't be replaced. Nobody's gonna be like, I'm gonna be born tomorrow. That's gonna be 5 or 3
years ahead of you. Exactly, come from Saga doing their thing.
Exactly, it's not gonna happen.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't have been around back then. So you know what I mean. So yeah, he definitely just saved me a lot of mistakes.
Because honestly, when I listened to that Boulevard track, bro, like, yo, that's why I just know, like, yo, you're going somewhere. Like, that track literally, like, you attacked that track. Like, I can't explain, like, bro, that track was out of this world. Like, that's one of my favorite tracks on the mixtape still. And it just, you went to, like, you just went to a place where it's just, like, I don't know, it was just deep, real deep, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it just showed, man, because honestly, a lot of people don't know, like, the first episode of this podcast is R.I.P. Redway, you know what I mean? Okay. I never met him or nothing, but, like, one of the, like, cause I've always been a person that's, like, I loved, like, I knew all the talent we have here, you know what I mean? I've been around the world, you know what I mean? I used to live in New Jersey, I used to live in England, and, like, there's no place like Toronto, Saga, Brampton, wherever you want to, you know what I mean, say, but, like, when he died, like, I've always known him to be a rapper. I've always seen him around, you know what I mean? So when he died and I seen all the love he was getting, like, that's what really, like, woke me up. I'm like, holy, this guy's been out here putting all this work and all this time, and you guys been seeing him and nobody decided to give him the recognition. But then when he passed, like, just like Drake showing love got him on Rolling Stone, BT, all these channels, and, like, if he was here to see this, that one push would have took him to where he needed to be, you know what I mean? And that's what one of the reasons that made me just wake up and say, yo, all right, I gotta do whatever I can to also help these artists because, we have so much talent here, and it can be any circumstance, an accident, getting shot, going to jail, or anything, and a lot of people may have that talent wasted, and so much resources and, like, Toronto's like, you can do anything here, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I just feel like, yo, it's our time, you know what I mean? And it's time for us to step up. And so what do you think the artists from here can do to, like, help their careers thrive and like get like a message, like, because maybe they can't hear it from me, but somebody like you that's already doing their thing, like explain to them that like there's like you don't have to cross the border. Like Atlanta's smaller than here it is here in Toronto, you know what I mean? And look how many artists are eating. Obviously, granted, it's trap, but it's still money being made, and they're still finding a way to eat off of something that they love doing, you know what I mean? And I think that that's the same message we can get around here on this side of the border.
Yeah, number one is make a plan. Make a plan and then stick to your plan. Make a plan, find out whether the plan is going to work or whether it's not going to work. Once you make a plan and you think the plan is going to work, you stick with your plan. Make a short-term goal, and make a short-term goal. Make a long-term goal. Oh my God, it's funny to say that. Make a short-term goal. Let's get it. Make a long-term goal. Let's get it. And just like I fucked up just now, you're gonna fuck up. You know what I mean? But yeah, make a plan, make your goals, and stick to it. And now everything in your career is going to either it's part of the plan or it's not part of the plan. That's how you know whether to take the opportunity. That's how you know whether to do the show or not. That's how you know when to drop your mixtape. That's how you know when to drop the single or not. Make your plan. Does it fit within your plan or not? If it doesn't fit, you don't need to do it. Don't worry about it. Don't watch nobody else. Don't watch John River. Don't watch Jazz Cardi. Don't look at these other guys like, yo, these guys are blowing up. I got it. No. Make your plan for yourself based off of your talent and your quality. Once you decide that plan's gonna work, stick to the process. Stick to the plan. You know how many times I don't want it to change up? Oh my God, yo, let me just go through the hood. Let me just do a whole bunch of remixes and a whole bunch of hood rapper stuff. Let me just bless this song. Let me just, get on this remix. You know what I mean? Let me just sign to Warner. Let me just sign to Universal. Let me just sign to, which are all options that I had. You know what I mean? However, I thought to myself, and I was close, I was like, I'm not super strong to, I'm like, oh, yo, I didn't consider it. Man, I woke up every day for 3 months like, man, I look around my crib, look at this food up on this table like, Mom, today I'm about to just go sign that deal. Let me just sign that deal. My nigga, or, you know what I mean, looking at my gaslight, yo, what the hell am I out here trying to do? Let me just sign this deal, my nigga. You know what I mean? Girl be like, yeah, like, let's go out for coffee. I'm like, I just spent that money real quick. We can't go to Starbucks. I can get you that Tim Hortons. Let me sign this deal. Like, let me fix everything. But at the end of the day, so I have moments where I'm weak too. I'm hella weak. And if you want to start a deal, go ahead. You know what I mean? But have your plan, have your vision. And then I knew it was real when I got to the label and they're like, all right, John, you want to sign here? We'll make you the face of the franchise. I said, you know what? Thank you, but no thank you. Because I see my plan and I believe in it. And if you don't believe in your plan, what the fuck are you doing?
It for?
What are you doing? You know what I mean? Your plan might work, it might not, but you gotta stick to it. That's the only way you're gonna find out. So when opportunity comes, just look at your plan and be like, yo, does this fit within it? Choose a plan, choose a rubric. I chose my Big Crit. I looked at Big Crit. I looked at Kendrick Lamar. I looked at Schoolboy Q. I looked at J-Rock. I looked at J. Cole. I looked at Drake. I looked at Blue. I looked at Lupe Fiasco. I looked at Nipsey Hussle. I looked at everybody. I said, when did they blow up? First mixtape. Yeah, second mixtape, third mixtape. How many projects did they put out? How many songs did they have out before I heard about them? How many songs did they have out before they reached 100,000 views on every video? How many songs did they have out before they reached 40,000 views? I gotta pace myself. I can't get to 40 songs released until I get to blah, blah, blah. And somebody said, well, why did your first mixtape come out and then you waited 3 years before your second mixtape? Because
you didn't reach your numbers.
I didn't reach my numbers. And until I reach my numbers, I chill the fuck out because I gotta stick to the plan. And throughout those 3 years, I wanted to drop The Storm. I wanted to drop music. I was gonna drop every day for 3 years. But I had to wait. I had to wait. I felt the pressure. I was like, man, I gotta drop this. People gonna forget about me. Man, look at Sean Leon blowing up. Look at Jazz Kirk. Look at the Flan with my homie. Look at all these guys eating.
That's a nigga I want to see you on the track with.
Right?
Darren Falana, you?
Yeah, he's coming actually out to a couple of days on tour.
That's definitely somebody I want to see.
Right.
You two right here,
Thank
man.
you, right?
I have so much faith.
In. He's good. He's so good. And I'm like, look at all these guys, like doing well and stuff like that. Man, I could just drop right now, show these niggas what. But at the same time, I just thought to myself, Did I reach the numbers? No. So just calm down.
Plan, man.
And everybody telling you, John River, wow, you're losing your buzz. John, wow, you're not keeping up. Wow, John, like everybody's dropping every week. Why aren't you dropping? And you just gotta listen and be patient. And I finally hit my numbers. I dropped the storm, and that shit did so fucking well. And I was like, wow. And people like, my nigga, you about to blow. And honestly, I had to wait 3 years. If you're not willing to put out a project and wait 2.5 years to put out your next project, if you don't have that self-discipline, you can't survive in this industry. Because the reality for all artists, you set your pace. And let me tell you, the most important thing is setting your pace. This is what makes artists brand new. This is what makes artists old. Sometimes somebody said to me the other day, yo, I feel like a certain artist who's like only 23 has been out forever. Yeah, because they've released 200 songs. Mm-hmm. Rick Ross was a new artist at 36 because you had only heard 12 songs. You're not as old. Like Mick Macklemore is new artist at 31. It's not about how old you are. It's about how much music you have out.
Yeah.
If we've heard 300 songs from you, what the fuck is here?
What else?
You look at Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, they're just touching 200. Yeah. Drake is like, he doesn't release music that often. He might go on somebody else's remix, but if you look at Drake's projects, he doesn't release music that often. He sets
look at Nipsey.
the pace. Nipsey Hussle.
You don't even get it. I'm starving for the victory lap.
I'm so bro. Nipsey Hussle made it way too long because I got so mad at that victory lap shit.
Trust me.
You know what I mean? But they set the pace. You determine how good your music is. You know what it's like? It's like fast food and cooked food. If you go to a restaurant and like it's expensive ass restaurant, you don't expect the food to be ready in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Everybody talks, oh, you know, I love getting food fast and shit, but we all talk shit about McDonald's and say it's not really food. So you gotta let people know, am I serving you steak? Am I serving you that meal that you're gonna talk about for the next 5 years and be like, yo, we went to that restaurant, that lobster was crazy. You determine whether you're giving them lobster or whether you're giving them McDonald's. That's your choice. That's your choice. If you want to give them a Big Mac and whatever the case may be, and you want people, the Big Mac on God, but just understand, everybody's going to look at your music and going to be like, yo, that's shit. If I have the option of eating steak or having the Big Mac, I'm going to eat steak. So when you drop the same time Drake drops, so when you drop the same time Big Girl, they don't fuck with you. You know why? Because you're McDonald's. Yeah, you're around all the time. But
you're watered down.
You're watered down. So you got to decide. You it's not up to anybody else of the fans think that no. You let them know. You let them know what you think of your own music. If you think your music is amazing, wait. Let them take it in. Let them grow with it. If you think your music is shit, you're going to let me know because you're going to drop a song. The next week, you're going to drop another song. The next week, you're going to drop another song. You're letting me know that, honestly,
you don't have confidence in your own shit.
I should only listen to your work for a week. That's what you're telling me. Because once you drop new music, you're like, yo, that song was only good enough for you to listen to for a week.
Yeah, it ain't holding you down no more. Yeah.
For a week.
Man.
For a week. Good Kid, Mad City. Kendrick Lamar, 2 years before Timber? He said, yo, these 12 songs are so good, they can last you over 600 days. That's how good I am.
For sure.
And I'm like, aye, nigga, you right. And you know what happens? I lie. If this isn't facts, I don't know what's facts. You listen to a mixtape, right? Cool. You listen to it for like a month and shit. Aye. Then you stop listening to it. If the artist hasn't put out any music, it's like 8 months later, 9 months later, you start listening to that project.
Same feeling.
Yeah,
same feeling.
That second listen is crazy. Yeah. You come back to it 9 months later, and you're like, yo, what the hell? This is sick.
You pick up things you never even heard.
You pick up things like, yo, that happens. Like, you gotta give people that time, though. They're gonna listen to your mixtape, then you're gonna see 8 months later, they're gonna be like, yo, let me just go listen to. This mixtape was amazing. They take it in. 8 or 9 months later, you gotta give them that second.
That's when you determine it's a classic or not.
That's when you determine. They come back to it on their iTunes like 9 months later, and they listen to it like on a trip to like they're going on a sports trip or they're going on a bus, and they just catch it and they're like, yo, this shit was actually amazing. Yeah. How did I not take it in?
No, trust me. That's exactly everything you're saying is facts right there.
Facts, man. You know what I mean? But give them that time. You can't put it out a month and then be like, oh, well, you know, and then put something else another 5 months. Let them come back to your shit. Let them tweet you and be like, yo, I just went back through your first mixtape. My nigga, like, you're sick. And that's when you're like, aight, cool. Like,
salute.
Yeah, do other shit in the meantime. But, yo, give them that time. Don't rush it. Give them that time. And you know what? Give yourself time to get better. Mm-hmm. You owe it to people. I can't release my second mixtape. What the fuck have I been doing if I'm not getting better? You're like, yo, take your time and get better. Like, it's the same thing with sports. When you're playing basketball, you're not getting better. When you're practicing, you're getting better. You gotta practice. So, like, go live life. Like, drop a mixtape. Go live life. Have life experiences. See the world differently. Like, graduate your brain. Then graduate, get better, come back, and then be like, okay, I am better than I was. If you drop a mixtape today and you drop a mixtape in 5 months, that means the moment you dropped your mixtape, you just kept rapping. And you kept rapping. And you kept rapping, which means you didn't get any better. You just released new music. When you release new music, it should be better than the last shit you dropped. It shouldn't just be new, it should be better. So you gotta think to yourself, how are you gonna get better? If you rap about life, go live. Go live life. Go date a girl. Go break up with a girl. Go fuck some bitches. Go wear a condom. Go not wear a condom. Have a pregnancy scare. Go spend a whole bunch of money. Waste a whole bunch of money. Go live life. Learn new shit. Come back to those people and be like, yo, look at what I learned from that first shit I was showing you. My first mixtape, I was like, I think I love Marissa and I'm only 17. My second mixtape was like, give her dick, don't date her. I was like, what the? You know what I mean? And I bet you the next mixtape, I'll be like, all that give a dick, don't date her shit is immature. I've been the nigga since a bit. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So, obviously, I graduated from Hope City 1 to Hope City 2 to where I learned, like, what the fuck? This isn't what the game about. The game was about dicking down as many bitches as you can. And now, even since that, so now,
you've grown.
I've grown and I'm like, yo, I gotta chill. Like, I can't be out in these streets like this. Like, yo, like, why don't I, like, what? I don't even care about girls anymore. Like, why am I having, you know what I mean? So, I need to grow, because if you grow, you're gonna be showing kids, like, let people grow with you, fam. I mean, let them grow.
That's John River, man. You guys listen, man. Just go listen to me as I speak right now. Go download The Storm. Go download The Calm. These are 2 mixtapes that I'm telling you that, like, yo, amazing work, man. And this guy's repping the city right, repping Saga right. And, yo, he's on the rise. I guarantee by next year this time, you gonna know his name, you know what I mean? And anything else you got to say?
Thank you. No, I just want to thank you for having me. Thank you for your persistence as well, too. That's super amazing. Like, people got to get it. Ambition, you know what I mean? For people who don't know, this nigga Emmanuel hit me up. I was like, yo, I'm going to meet you outside. Ended up in the change room with Allen Iverson. Didn't meet him outside. Looking for his card. Next thing you know, he called me. I'm like, all right, perfect. I'm going to text you. Didn't text him. He texted me again. He's like, send me your email. Didn't send him the email. Call me tonight. Like, yo, we still having it? I'm like, yeah, we still here. Showed up half an hour late. We still have the podcast. That's the perseverance. You know what I mean? You got to get it. That's the difference between the guy who gets the interview, honest to God, and the guy who doesn't get the interview. You know what I mean? In my head, I want to do everything. The reality is, and this guy he'll tell you, like, man, people call my mom, people call my brother, people call anybody's phone but mine to get in touch with me. But this nigga was hella persistent, and boom, he got it done. You know what I mean? He just got it done, and you know what I mean? And like now, there's an even more highly inclination to come back later and to come back later. You understand what I'm saying? So thank you guys for having me. Thank you for the persistence. Perfect example of like, yo, you just gotta get it. You gotta get it by any means. By any means, it's gotta happen. You know what I mean?
That's John River. It's Too Real, the podcast. Row.
Row.
Ah.